All right, I just want to make sure I'm live. Sorry about that, guys. I am we're going to do a slightly different topic today, and we're going to have to reschedule the interview with Miss Clark because something came up. It happened, right? So I'm going to switch this out, but I did want to talk about I was going to make this into an actual YouTube video, but heck, why not talk about it now since we're here? So, I want to talk about I want to talk about quiet quitting because it's something that we've all probably heard about by now, but it's got this resurgence about it. It's got this new life, and I really want to talk about it. And like I said before, if you're watching this live or on replay, I do apologize. We just had some technical difficulties, so we will be doing this, but we will be rescheduling it. Don't worry, I'll change everything up. So, the question that I wanted to ask in terms of quiet quitting in the video that I was going to do is, can you afford to quiet quit your job, right? So, like I said, the term isn't new and it has got its reawakening in the resurgence of the Great Resignation, and it's been gaining momentum again. So, like any well informed millennial, hit the internet streets to figure out what the heck quiet quitting was. And so it it's something that again we've all kind of seen. So from the Washington Post to YouTube, I gathered up all this information and basically here's what I found. So it's a fancy term for feeling burnt out, being undervalued, and taking on tasks that don't progress your career. And so people have decided, you know what, I'm over it, I'm done, I'm out. And so I'm going to just go to work, do the bare bones minimum, and then go home. Right now, in theory, that sounds good, right? You just go to work, do what they ask you to do, go home, right? You're not going to do anything extra. You're not going to do anything in excess. You're not going to do anything that is not in your job description. Cool. But what that tends to do, it's different, right? It's different for everyone. And in the terms of can you afford to quiet quit? I saw an article. I can't remember if it was in Forbes or Washington Post, but it said that Black and brown folks, we can't afford to quiet quit because we're not seeing growth, right? And the whole argument was I quiet quit because they're not showing me any type of promotion potential, any type of something that shows that I am being acknowledged and or rewarded for my hard work. So why would I work hard? And so the Gen Z, they've claimed it, but it's something that's been happening forever. So it's the workplace burnout, like I said, and the idea is simple. You just forget about going above and beyond in your job. Only do your job description, what's in your pay grade, right? You get there at 8, you log off at 5, Gucci, right? So if you haven't heard of the phrase, hopefully you're kind of understanding it now. And why is this? Before we get really into more of what it is, why is it gaining more buzz? So people realize that they want more out of life. They want to have that work-life balance. They want the pay. They want the shiny corporate life that we were promised when we were younger, especially for my millennial folks, right? They told us to go to school, get a job, and then you'll be set with the white picket fence, the dog, the family, the bicycles, all that stuff. But I think that somewhere along the way, it became a little bit difficult, and that quote unquote American dream was not really attainable for a lot of people. And so people feel like their effort is not being rewarded. This dream that they've been promised is not coming true. And on one hand, you have, I just realized my mic was over here. Let me get this over here. So on one hand, you have people saying, no, you can't quiet quit because it's not good for your promotional growth and you'll never get, around that way. You'll never move up that way. You'll never, meet people around the office, yada, yada, right? And the other side is saying, well, why would I continue to work hard if I am not getting acknowledged in the form of gratitude, payments, promotions, things of that nature? And I think there's truth in both sides. So on one hand, never be a doormat. Do tasks that will increase your promotion potential or you genuinely want to do. Will there be times when you have to quote unquote take one for the team? Let's be honest, yes. But ultimately, setting boundaries and prepping for your next goal is how you avoid always being a doormat. So, for example, let's say you're at your job and you've been asked to join a committee, right? A committee is not necessarily part of your work, is not a part of what's in your job description. But let's think about it this way. Could the could the committee technically get you in front of important people that you need to network with? Yes. Two, could the committee help you branch out and build more skills for your next role? Yes. Or C, or option three, or whatever I was saying, could it be just something that you're interested in, right? Some people join their like diversity and inclusion committee, or some people join like their committees for women and their committees for millennials and their committees for blah, all this stuff. And it's just something that you enjoy. Don't ever let someone tell you that you shouldn't do something in terms of work that you enjoy because they see it as going overboard or doing too much. If you enjoy it, if it's something that lights you up, I'm not saying that it's, the end all be all, but if it's something that you truly enjoy, go and do it. Don't let anyone make you think that, you putting in that extra effort in something you actually want to do is dumb, because it's not. So make sure that you're doing promotional tasks. So what do I mean by that? So I'm looking at my notes, sorry. Let's wind it back. So when I say setting boundaries, let's start with there. Setting boundaries is all about what you will and will not allow. So like I said before, there's going to be times where you're going to have to take one for the team and stay a couple minutes late and all that stuff, which is fine. That is just part of any natural work life. Even if you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business, you're not going to be like, well, the work's not done today. I guess I'm just, bye, right? You're going to stay the extra 15 minutes and do the work. I think people glamorize, laptop lifestyle and all this stuff to where, it's never like it is in the office. It's never like it is in corporate life. And it's actually, if you guys know that saying, so you quit your 9 to 5 so you could work 24/7, right? In your own business. So, but I digress. So setting boundaries could be, you have a lot of work to do and someone brings you something else. Hey, you know what? I am at my limit. I'm at my capacity right now, and I can't take that on. That's a more professional way of saying it. Or you could just, I like to say it in normal layman's terms and in normal speak, if you will, and just saying, hey, I can't do that right now. I got too much stuff to do. Can't do it. Sorry. See if, such and such can help you. See if such and such can help you. Or if you wait until I'm done with this, then I potentially can help you with that. It's not anything where you have to get, super stuffy and dry with it. Just tell them, hey, I can't do this right now. That is setting boundaries. Saying no is uncomfortable. We all like to puff out our chest and say, I would say no in a heartbeat. But when it comes to when we're actually in the office and someone asks us something, then we're not so gangster at that point. We're not so in line with saying no, versus you tell other people. It's easy to tell other people to say no. When it's your turn, it's like, I'll get to it, right? So setting boundaries is super important. So 2, prepping for your next goal. When I say promotional tasks, this is going to take a little bit of research on your part. So if you are, let's say you're administrative assistant, and you're looking to be an office manager, right? So administrative assistant, office manager. What are the tasks that you need to accomplish in order to get the experience that the office manager needs? So if you have to coordinate calendars, if you have to manage people, if you have to take on some other tasks that maybe aren't in your wheelhouse, such as program coordination or very light budgeting or very light financing or whatever you want to, or financials, whatever, right? That's something that you can take on. That's not necessarily in your role as an office assistant or administrative assistant or office assistant, whatever. That's not in your role, or in your job description. But when you're actually trying to write to be an office manager, when you're trying to write your resume, when you're trying to do your interviews, these are the things that you put on your resume. Instead of saying, oh, I revamped my resume, I rewrote it, and I'm still not getting people to hit me up. Well, it's because you didn't prep beforehand, right? So you can make it sound as amazing as you want to sound, you can make it sound as amazing as you want to make it sound, but at the end of the day, if you actually have done the job, it's going to be 10 times, or done something similar to the job, right? Transferable skills. So you doing light budgeting or you doing light financials is going to transfer over to your office manager job. You just can't barely do your job, have no network, no references, no nothing, and then expect to, move up to a very high role, unless your office runs on seniority, or you just happen to be the boss's son's cousin's brother, sister, mama, uncle, whatever. So for the rest of us who don't have, those type of connections, we either have to make those connections or we have to pick up the skills that we know we're going to need in the future. So when I say promotional tasks for an office assistant or admin assistant, that's going to be, like I said, budgeting, light financials, coordinating projects, making sure calendars are good, stuff like that, right? So it's up to you to kind of research about what your promotional tasks would be. Now, on the other hand, so there was two sides of the same coin. So you had on one hand, you don't want to be a doormat. You don't want to just do things for the sake of doing things. Do things because you want to do them. Do things because it's gonna transfer well into your resume or into your interview questions. But on the other hand, if you never take on new tasks, then you might be pigeonholing yourself into the same or similar roles for years without demonstrating growth. So if you go into work and you do the same thing every single day, you put your head down, you grind. First of all, nobody can see you with your head down, so you have to lift your head up and you have to be able to be in front of the right people. Your career advancement, all that stuff is really about your skills, knowledge, and experience, but it's also kind of about the people you know. So if your connections are legit, if your network is legit, then you really have a better chance, quote unquote. I know I use air quotes a lot. You have a better chance than a lot of other people because networking really, let's be honest, it's going to get you to that hidden job market. It's going to get you into a lot of different spaces, and it's going to open doors for you that otherwise might not have been open. So you want to make sure you're showing steady growth and you're not going in, putting your head down and doing the work and then just expecting them to all of a sudden see your brilliance, right? You have to basically shine your brilliance and your awesomeness in their face for them to see. So you need to take that into account. So you need to get scrappy and find projects and tasks that can progress you to the next level. Again, setting healthy boundaries and be able to have those uncomfortable conversations that end in no. What's that thing? No is a full sentence, right? No period. That's a full sentence. And then don't be afraid to ask for help. I see so many people who have the attitude of, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I read a few blogs. I'm good, right? I think that most people are capable, but most people won't do it, right? Most people are capable of losing weight. Most people will not do it. It's not the fact that you don't have the knowledge, because you have the knowledge, you have the understanding, and you have the capability of landing that new role. The only problem is, and it's not that you won't do it or that you can't do it, it's implementation, right? When someone says all you have to do to lose weight is be in a calorie deficit and work out, and we're all like, Duh, that makes sense. I saw that in 1,000 different blogs, 1,000 different TV shows. I got this. What makes losing weight so difficult? What makes the thought of a calorie deficit so difficult? It's all the little pieces that go in between you at your starting weight and you at your ending weight, right? Same with career. What is stopping you from going from what you're currently in now to what you want over here? It's accountability, it's implementation, it's knowing how to go from step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, instead of going 1, 4, 3, 8, 85, right? We want to skip ahead. We don't implement things right. And I'm looking at myself right now as well, because in one of my past posts, I talked about how when I get something new, and there's a name for it, and I can't remember the name for it off the top of my head, but I will remember it hopefully before this live is over. But the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger, that don't sound right, but it might be right. So anyway, it's basically this thing is like when you start something new, you get these endorphins, you get this really like this rush of excitement, this high on learning or getting something new and feeling like you're making progress. But what ends up happening is that rush, that exhilaration starts to wear off, and then you're like, I need another hit of that. And so what you do is you go find the next shiny thing or the next thing or the next thing to keep yourself feeling productive and to keep yourself in a state of mind going, I'm making progress. I haven't seen those results yet, but I'm making progress. And we don't want that. We want to make sure that you're actually making progress, just not thinking you're making progress. So don't be afraid to ask for help, whether you invest in a coach, invest in a mentor, read more books, watch more videos. I don't want you to get into the only thing with reading more books and watching more videos. And again, I'm looking at myself, is I don't want you to get into this knowledge buffet, this where you gorge yourself on knowledge, but you don't implement. So find something, read a couple of things, watch a couple of things, then implement. Then read a couple of things, watch a couple of things, implement. And the great part about coaching, the great part about, say, like Career Goals Academy, which is my program that helps you transition into a new role without starting from the bottom. Let's say, for example, Career Goals Academy. That is something that is laid out step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you just need to follow it, implement what's in there, follow the career goals blueprint, come to the calls, do all this stuff to see progress, to see growth. It's up to you to implement. Like, it's all laid out beautifully for you, but it's really up to you to implement. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay. So, and then another thing, like not another thing, but next thing, if you're over your job and feel like quiet quitting, or you have already quietly quit, it's a lot of cues, then I invite you to catch my free training on how to land your next role in a new industry. And let me break this down for you. So if you've already quietly quit, or you're thinking about quiet quitting, a lot of cues, then at some point you were over it. You were done. You were burnt out. It's not challenging. It's boring, whatever. So at that point, or it's not, enough for you in terms of like salary or whatever, flexibility. At that point, why are we still staying? I was messaging a young lady in the DMs, and she was telling me that she was bored, right? She was bored at her job. There was nothing challenging. There was nowhere to move up, but she had only been on the job for 6 months. And I know there's this stigma about job hopping, but I was like, life is too short for you to worry about what people think about you job hopping. If you don't like it and you're like, I'm going to give myself a year. Now, there's something to be said for sticking stuff out and just, going with it. But if you've been somewhere for 6 months and you completely hate it, I personally, now that I've, had my come to Jesus moment, I personally would have started looking and or started something on the side. So I only say start something on the side because sometimes it's not you, sometimes it's the environment. And if you're going somewhere for just a paycheck, which I don't really advise, because you can have paycheck, purpose, and passion. But if you're just there for the paycheck, understandable, but not recommended. You can start something on the side to kind of get your blood flowing, get the brain juices flowing and whatnot. But I really would just suggest, really would suggest that you sorry, the car alarm went off. I would really just suggest that you find something else. And it's not it I know you're like, oh, it sounds easy, but it's not. That is why you have mentors, coaches, people that can help you really not only narrow down what you want to do, but also help you articulate your value, your skills, your knowledge, and experience so that you can get into that new industry, get into that new role without actually having to start from the bottom. So you spend way too much time at work to hate it. That's one of my mottos. You spend way too much time at work to hate it. So let's get you out of that job that you don't like. So if you hate it, get up and do something about it. I sat in the same role for a little while, just not liking where it was going, not really seeing what was next, feeling very defeated. And then when I finally got tired of being tired, I got up and did something about it. I, reached out to people to help me with my interviews and with my resumes and with my resumes, but with a lot of different things. And I was able to take that mentorship and move on to a new role. So and this is the last thing I want to say, because I don't want this to be too long. It's already 20 minutes. But if you aren't willing to change, willing to try, like how many books have you read? How many trainings have you set on? Like what are you doing? And then once you have that knowledge, how are you implementing? How are you taking action? That's a really big thing this year for me, and it really should be for you, because we only have a few months left, is to just take action. Take that imperfect, messy, I don't know what the heck I'm doing action. Go for it and see what it happens. So make sure you catch my free training. It'll be in the description of this video. Bring a pen and paper. It's amazing. It'll really help you not only kind of narrow down the next steps, but really explain how you can land your next role without starting from the bottom. So thank you guys again. We will get Miss Clark on here at another time. But thanks for hanging out with me. And I'm so glad that I could bring you this information today. And all right, you guys, I will catch you on my next live.